Hi everyone, it's me, Mrs. Lauterbach, and I'm going to work you through your lesson today. Today's an important one. We're going to map out Sri Lanka and look for the plate boundaries that are found within. This is going to help us in creating our planning out for the people of Sri Lanka and their tsunami warning system. Then afterwards, we're going to take a quiz over plate boundaries. Now, if you are working from home today or remote learner, I probably will not release the quiz until your official class start time. After that, you'll want to log in and take the quiz. Okay, so in Google Classroom today, you have right here, your slides 20 through 26. You're going to open up slides 20 through 26, and Hannah Wong, our project director for the World Ocean Administration, wants us to get familiar with the plate boundaries around the island of Sri Lanka. So we're going to look at a closer detail of the map here in terms of what tectonic activity is happening that would affect a tsunami. On slide 2, or rather, this would be 21, our investigation question is, which areas are more likely to have an earthquake that causes tsunamis? There's reading here that talks about the magnitude of the earthquakes. Not all earthquakes are going to trigger tsunami, so we want to be very mindful of what could cause a local tsunami, which would just be tsunamis surrounding maybe just an area of islands or a collection of islands, versus an ocean-wide tsunami, which could go all the way across the entire Indian Ocean. And in fact, in 2004, the Boxing Day tsunami that was in the Indian Ocean off the coast of Thailand was considered an ocean-wide tsunami. Not only did it affect the area here with Thailand and Indonesia and India, but in fact, the tsunami waves traveled all the way across the ocean and hit the island of Madagascar and parts of East Africa. So we want to make sure that we understand the difference in magnitude for a local tsunami versus an ocean tsunami. So you need to read this and then type in the earthquake magnitude that we need to be aware of. Okay. Next, we have the various boundaries. So we have a convergent boundary that we'll see with a trench or a mountain range. This type of boundary is more likely to cause a tsunami because of the subduction zone. It causes an uplift in the ocean waves. We also have a divergent boundary, which is the plates spreading apart from each other. We do get occasional earthquakes here, but it's very rare that it will cause a tsunami. And then we have a transform boundary, a fault line, or if it's in the ocean floor, a fracture zone, and they cause multiple earthquakes, but because it's a side-to-side motion, it does not often cause a tsunami. So what we're going to do here in the first part of our investigation question is we're going to understand the types of boundaries that are going to happen in the Indian Ocean that would cause an earthquake. We'll come back to number 2 and 3 in a later class, okay? So really, we're just going to be focusing on mapping out the plate boundaries, the convergent, divergent, and transform boundaries. Now, we're going to have 2 things up while we do this. First, you need to be in presentation mode to open up the map, all right? The link right here. You will make a copy of this map, and what I would recommend you do is change the name from copy to your last name. Right, so I've got Ladderback, map of the Indian Ocean. So this would be your last name specifically. And here's my map of the Indian Ocean, and here's Sri Lanka itself. So I see a lot of the lines that are taking place here. Okay, so I'm going to map out the convergent boundary, divergent boundary, and transform boundaries. So I'm going to revisit those slides so I can understand a convergent boundary. So that's going to look like a trench here or a mountain range. So I'm going to insert a line, a scribble line. I'm also going to change the color of that line. Okay, to be yellow. Maybe I have to make a line first. Yep, I do have to make a line first. Okay, yellow. Okay, so convergent boundary. So if you recall, the Himalaya Mountains are also a convergent boundary. I need to make sure I'm in scribble mode. So right here is the Himalaya Mountains. Okay. And I would actually, noticing that it's kind of a little hard to see, so I'm going to make it a little thicker. All right, so there's my Himalaya mountains. All right, now the other thing is that this, this is the convergent boundary that's pushing up continental plate to cause this mountain range. But also right along here, where it's dark, and it kind of goes up all the way to the top, that is a convergent boundary. That's a trench. Okay, so we want to make sure that we have monitored that trench. So we've got the mountain range here, the convergent boundary between these two plates, and then the trench here as well. Okay, the next one is a divergent boundary. So I'm going to just change my color to be red. And if I look at my Google Slides to revisit, that will be a mid-ocean ridge. So where the land is starting to separate apart from each other on the ocean floor. So if I look at my map here, I can clearly see this right here along is my mid-ocean ridge. Oh, and it accidentally changed my little convergent boundary yellow. So I need to make sure I go back and I change that to yellow because that is a convergent boundary. There we go. All right, perfect. All right, so I've got my convergent boundary. This is where earthquakes that will have a large enough magnitude to cause a tsunami will be. And then I have my divergent boundary right here. Next is a transform boundary. So I'm going to click on a green, maybe just practice that a little. Oh no, I moved the map itself. All right. Okay. And good thing I'm practicing before I do my map. All right, there's the green, okay? And I recommend that 3 size. Okay, so a transform boundary are when the plates are sliding next to each other, all right? And right along the edge here between 9 and 10, we have a transform boundary. And it's kind of difficult to see, but it's right along here. And you can see right here, these ridges, they're kind of going side to side. All right, so that would be our transform boundary moving across here, okay? Then the other one that we see a transform boundary is right along here. All right, so that's also causing a transform boundary as it's getting shifted side to side between each other. All right, so this is your map of the plate boundaries of Sri Lanka. We're going to get very familiar with this map, and you'll see along as you go the map and we eventually get to even marking the earthquakes, there's the key here, but there's also paying attention to the little legends around it. The last thing I want us to do with this map, since we've got it collected with our plate boundaries here, our convergent, divergent, and transform, is I want us to bookmark this. So up on the top of your browser, you have bookmark this tab. We're going to click bookmark, and I'm going to put it in my Amplify notebook. I'm going to click done. Then when I go to my bookmark here, I've got my plate motion slides and I've got my drawing. And the reason why I'm bookmarking it instead of screenshotting it is because we will come back to this map as we mark the earthquakes here in the future, okay? So that's why I want to bookmark. I also want to stress, like, ideally, it would be helpful to have your bookmarks up in the browser here. To do that, you just need to click on the little 3-dot icon, click bookmarks, and then all you have to do is either show bookmark manager, and it'll place it up on the top as well. Okay, other than that, that is your map of the plate boundaries. After this, we'll be doing our quiz and, getting good grades. And then we'll be exploring here in the next couple weeks, tsunami specifically. Okay, have a great day. Bye.